assembly. Let's take a look at something.
Okay, I'm going to discuss a few of the advanced mates now. I've recorded video excerpts off that guy's video because that's like way better, you know, because when it comes to stuff like this, he's got the parts and shit to demonstrate it, and I just simply don't without doing a whole hell of a lot of drafting work. But I'm going to talk about some of these mating types. Firstly, the path mate is pretty good for complex cams, and you'll see a video on that, you know, called advanced mate, you know, SW, you know, advanced mate, ADV, MATES, and then, you know, like path mate, etc. So, you know, for all these various mates. But, you know, that's good for creating like a barrel cam, you know, which is like a rotating object with grooves in it, for example, where a thing will go up and down depending upon the rotation. And that's quite interesting. Linear coupler and so forth I haven't looked at. Symmetric relates to you know, planes, which you can define because you can actually create a symmetric relationship based on planes. Again, check out the video. It's pretty simple. But, you know, a couple of tricks to it. Now, the mechanical mates are interesting. They're, for the most part, you know, mock-ups, you know. In other words, there may be other ways, you know, of actually making actual mechanical mates, but these actually simulate it. Although the cam was pretty cool. You ought to watch that video, you know, and how it works. But you know, he hadn't talked about the slot mate yet, but I mean, hinge mate, gear mate, screw mate, etc. I mean, if these had like cylindrical surfaces, you know, I can make these, you know, act like gears or, you know, UV joints or whatever, but I can't select them because it's expecting cylindrical surfaces. You know, same for the hinge. I mean, it just kind of simulates the hinge, but you'd really be better off. For example, I could simulate the motion of a hinge without a pin in it. You know, so if you didn't even have a pin in it, you know, I can make two halves of a hinge actually act like a hinge. But of course, in practice, you know, it'd be better off to actually have a pin in it and then, you know, establish relationships with those mechanical elements so that the hinge works right. But you can, you know, kind of mock it up with this. It's the same thing for that, you know, that path cam. You know, that's actually, you know, that path mate. You know, it's kind of got some limitations to it. You know, that means that, you know, you might want to use other methods to actually achieve accurate motion, but it does help. It's a quick and dirty way of simulating things. Like the screw mate, you know, I can simulate a screw turning, you know, and give it a certain number of revolutions. I don't know if I can do it with this. Yeah, probably not. It's got to be cylindrical, right? So almost all these are cylindrical. But anyway, the point is that you know, that these are just simulated, but you can do it without these. I mean, don't think, oh, because you got mechanical mates, you got to use mechanical mates, you know, to make a universal joint, for example. No, you could actually make a universal joint using conventional mates and have it work properly. But this is a you know, quick and dirty way. Like you can make a UV joint, you know, two halves of UV joint without a coupler, you know, and still have them rotate like the thing worked properly. Same with the gear thing, you know, the gear. Now the gears may be difficult to simulate. You may need to use the gear thing. I don't know, because I don't know if this would actually properly simulate a bunch of actual gears meshing or not. But the point is that, you know, that's what these advanced mates kind of do for the most part, if they are creating mock-ups, you know, a substitute for actually going in and defining all the mates, you know, mostly for presentations and things like that. So anyway, well, I'm going to put this in a different video. Well, I'll go ahead and talk about it here, but I ought to put this in a tip video. You know, these parts, you know, they're not movable. You know, I can't grab them, but there's no mates on them. You know, you see there's not a single mate in here. But if you look at this F, you know, that means it's fixed. But you can click on it and hit float, okay, and that'll make a part so that it can move again. So these are still fixed, but, you know, I could float them as well. So that's why I couldn't move anything, even though we put these in here. But you can kind of see, since I got the origins turned on, that the parts did have a coincident origin, so they all have the same origin point. And again, if I could have stuck these parts in here, in that other assembly referencing that origin, they would all snap together the same way because they have the same origin point. So even this will have the same origin point because it's just a copy. So I don't think I can grab its origin point, though I can do anything with it. So anyway, but of course, if you want to, you can come back and refix it. So now it's fixed again. Another little interesting thing that this may actually end up causing you some trouble, inadvertently in the future. Let's take these two parts, for example, and they're both free to move. Now you have this little icon in this toolbar that pops up here. It's called lock. So I can put it on there, hit OK, and now as a result, both of these things are locked together, and there's no other mates. I don't have any mates between these two parts at all. So but I don't know, see, it has a lock mate down here. So choose OK, and you go into mates, you'll see that as a lock. Now I guess you can edit the feature and unlock it, I guess. I don't know if you can unlock it. That's the thing. I don't know how you unlock it. Except to delete the feature, since it apparently creates it as a feature. I guess you just delete it, and voila. And now both parts are free to move. But anyway, that's why I say little things like that can trip you up. I ought to put that in the same video I'm going to do for the F. Because, you make it, why won't these damn things move? Well, in fact, there's several different ways of doing, of like fixing features or locking parts together and stuff like that that may have inadvertently been turned on and you didn't realize it. So, or somebody else turned them on, somebody else's drawing you're working on, you don't know how to undo it. Well, those are some of the ways. I wanted to say that, there's this button here called multiple mate mode, which is kind of handy. He used it in that cam video, to actually establish, the mates between the cams and 3 followers all at once. So, but you gotta toggle it on and toggle it off when you're done.